All right, thank you, Anthony. So we're looking back at the satellite picture of what Beryl looked like just as it came ashore this morning in a place called Matagorda. But remember, we talk about until hurricanes get to like Category 2 and 3, typically they're wettest, they're windiest, the storm surge scenario is worse on its right side. And there's a place called Freeport, Texas, and then Galveston. That's basically their beaches. Freeport and Galveston would be like our St. Augustine and our beaches, all part of the Houston metropolitan area. And the point I'm making is that there was rapid intensification just as it came ashore. That was really the big question all weekend long. We thought eventually Beryl would begin to rapidly intensify. Would it do it before it came ashore or as it was coming ashore? The point being that the good news is it didn't really become or did not begin to rapidly intensify. That is, the pressure dropped at about 2 to 3 millibars per hour until it made landfall. But that organization spins up to about 30,000 feet, meaning by the time it got over Houston, although some of the metropolitan area well inland, they actually had higher winds and heavier rains than for those that were watching the system when it was over the Gulf of Mexico just 24 hours beforehand. So just another example, especially with tropical systems, keep a close watch on the forecast and on updates because things will change. As expected, it did eventually weaken, but another sign of how well organized it became is that some areas on the coast, like a place called Freeport, had winds. And remember, this was just a Category 1. Places like Freeport had winds gusting to 90 and 95 miles per hour for 5 hours. Well, that is now on the move, and although it's nowhere near as strong as it was, there's a lot of energy with it, and at last count, there were 10 tornado warnings on the eastern and northeastern side of the system over northeastern Texas and southwest Louisiana. So this is still going to pack a punch with damaging winds and heavy rains as it extends northeastward through the Arklatex, the Mississippi Valley, and eventually could even bring some at least flooding rainfall type events to places like Cleveland and Detroit and all the way into Toronto. So tropical energy taken that far to the north. Let's come back to our storms. We called it a weather alert day. Our weather team talked about it over the weekend. For many of us, although the rain and the rumbles continue, the most dramatic part of the weather is over for many of us. But once we get south of Duval, we have a thunderstorm complex that was quite intense. It's beginning to weaken now, but still heavy rains and some lightning making it all the way to the beaches in St. Augustine and from Nocatee all the way out toward Ponte Vedra there. We will head on westward because this is probably our newest thunderstorm that is still intensifying. It's actually coming in with the Gulf Coast sea breeze. There's still some sun, you folks know it, from southwestern Clay County through Bradford and Union County. And these thunderstorms from Keystone Heights to Stark will tend to merge with this thunderstorm activity. So for those of you from Keystone Heights to Stark and Lake Butler, you're going to have the next big event over the next hour. Very heavy rain, lots of lightning. It's not going to move much. We've already seen some of these thunderstorms produce 2 to 4 inches of rain. I wouldn't be surprised if, especially as we get into the Stark and Lake Butler area over the next hour, you may see about 2 to 4 inches of rain. Some of us call that a frog strangler. All right, let's take it through the evening hours, and this is why we're saying the weather alert comes over by about 7, because notice by 7, we think most of the activity will be well off to the west of the metropolitan area. Still some rain, but as far as the concern for flooding on roadways and lightning, that'll be well out to the west, and then that'll be diminishing. What about tomorrow? Well, we think tomorrow, if anything, the activity could be a little more widespread and developing a little earlier. Therefore, we're going to go ahead call tomorrow a weather alert day, although the thunderstorms, again, will probably move a little bit quicker and arriving just a little bit earlier. So the weather alert tomorrow also will be from about noon to 7, going to make it all the way to the beaches. Significant rain probably impacting about 90% of us. So the impact will be from the storms. We don't think we'll have a heat advisory tomorrow, so still hot, but the main impact tomorrow will be from the thunderstorms. Just be aware, the thunderstorms tomorrow will tend to come at you from the west and the southwest. We're still going to have numerous thunderstorms Thursday and on Friday.